Hi guys, Yue here. So today I want to talk about Bareroot plants. And the way I encounter Bareroot plants are either a friend gives me a clump of something, or I get a mail order, or I go to a store and I buy packages of Bareroot plants. So a week ago I went to the store and I went a little crazy with all these plants because I'm having a spring fever, like in the worst way. So I'll show you all the plants that I got that are Bareroot, and I will tell you what to do with them if you happen to buy some Bareroot plants. So when you go to the store, you'll encounter two types of plant packages. One are perennials, and another type are summer bulbs or corms. So they have to be treated a little bit differently when you bring them home. So the perennials need to be in a cool environment. So the perennials that I got are hostas. It's a beautiful big daddy. This is striped one right here. I got some tiger lilies. Always wanted to find them. I couldn't find them in nurseries as plants, and this is actually another reason to love Bareroot plants, because you can find a larger selection that way. Got some fancy clematis. I swear it looks like a dahlia to me. I got the purple one. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. Got some ostrich ferns and some bleeding hearts. So these bleeding hearts are the old-fashioned one. They have the Dutchman breeches. They look differently. So these I haven't seen in trade for years. I was so excited to find these guys. So I will show you how to treat the perennials first. So when you bring your Bareroot perennials home, if it's not an option for you to plant them outdoors, which would be preferable, in my case I can't do that because we had a foot of snow on the ground when I brought them home, plus the ground is frozen. So if planting outdoors is not an option, the first thing that you could do is to mist them. You can open the package, and what happens a lot of times when they sit in the store in those bins, the store is room temperature. So these guys are drying out day after day, and nobody's watering them, nobody's taking care of them. So by the time you get to them, a lot of times they're really, really dry. So the first thing that you do when you get home is open the package and just take a sprayer and you mist inside the package. Another thing that you will encounter is that they most likely will start to grow. Again, because they're sitting in the store and it's room temperature, they're starting to grow. They feel like it's spring and the temperature is rising. So they got their start, which is not great, because in my case, I can't probably put them in the ground for another month. And these sprouts, once they start to grow, they don't have light, which means that they will become bleached. Bleached is that they don't, bleached means that they don't have chlorophyll, and they will be white and very, very sickly looking. So after you mist them, put them in the fridge. If you cannot, if outside is not an option, put them in the fridge, put them on the bottom drawer, and then just close them up again, and you keep them moist. You kind of check on them every couple of days. If they're drying out, just mist them. And then when you can plant outside, do it right away. Now, another option, and I do prefer this option, is to plant your perennials in pots with soil. Now, these packages, when they've been sitting in the store, this substrate that they're in has very little nutrients. So these guys have not been receiving any food for days and days. So by the time you can put them in the ground, which in my case is a month from now, they can become sickly because they haven't been feeding. and they also can become prone to disease. So what I do, I actually, when I bring them home, I take a regular pot, just wide enough for 3 plants, because that's what I have here, and I put them in the spot. And a lot of times it's hard to identify where's the top, where's the bottom, even though the plant started to grow. But I look for an old stem, which in case this is an old stem, and you can see that the roots are going down and the stem is going up. So, and then you just plant them like so. This is so much better for them. Okay, this one here. I'm so proud of myself. I'm filming with one hand and I'm planting with another one. That is impressive. Okay, again, old stem and the roots going down. Oh, there's the third one. Oops. All right. So these guys are done, and when it's time for me to plant them outside, I can just divide them, and this way they actually will have developed a little bit bigger, and they would have developed some root system, so they definitely will be ready for outdoors. One more thing I forgot to mention is that after you put these plants in pots, the perennial ones, you can put them outside if the temperature is above freezing. And you can, if it's a little bit below freezing, all you have to do is cover it with some straw or some leaves, because these are hardy perennials, so they shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a problem with that. So I just wanted to show you these hostas I got about a week ago, and I put them in pots, and I actually put them outside in plastic bins with a top, so they had some insulation in case hard frost came. So they're developing very nicely. You can see a leaf starting to form. So by the time the planting time comes around, there will be a real plant. So I'm super excited about this. Now, another type of plants that you can buy at this time of the year are dahlias, caladiums, begonias or gladiolus, and other summer blooming bulbs. Now, you can technically call them Bareroot, because these are, some of them are just tubers and corms, but they're basically modified roots to store the plant's nutrients over a period of time. So the same applies with these particular plants. You can bring them home. You can open up the package. This is a dahlia package, and you could just spray them. Don't overwater them, because then they might rot. And then these plants, you don't have to put in the fridge, because they are warm loving plants. You could just store them at room temperature. Now, I do prefer to put these plants in pots as well. This way I'll get a head start for the spring, and especially with dahlias. So I'll show you how to plant one now. Now, this one is actually starting to grow. There's a little sprout right here. I fill a pot with a potting soil. And I just place the tuber, and I fill it with soil. A little bit more. Just a little bit more. So these you don't have to put outside, and actually I don't suggest putting them outside now, because it's too cold for them now. These you can put outside after the danger of your last frost passes. Now, if you had them in pots, you probably will already have real plants like 8 inches tall, which will give you earlier flowers. If you put them in the room, if you store them in the room, they'll be smaller, but you'll have an extended period of blooms. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.